Alright, what's up everyone? FFDev here. In this video, we're going to be continuing our series. And we're going to be making some changes so we can get some better enemy spawning going in this video. So, first things first, let's go to main function. And at the top, we're just going to do hashtag include CST lib. Well, that wasn't very nice. Alright, CST lib. We're also going to include ctime. Apparently I didn't do this right. CSTD lib. There we go. So after you include both of these up here, right here, above player, we're going to add a few helper functions. We're going to name this one a type integer, get enemy count. And I'll explain why. We're just putting these here just for easy use, keep it from getting too complicated. But we're going to be getting our random count of enemies to spawn, so we're just going to say this equals random. Where's that at? Modulus 100. So what this does right here, int raw random, this should turn us a number between 1 and 100. Now, it's either 1 and 100 or 0 100. I can't tell you exactly right now, but it's safe to say it can be up to 100. So after we get that random number, we're going to say if roll is less than 50, then we're going to return 1. Because that's why this is named type int, because this returns an integer, and we're just going to return the number 1. Now, we're going to say it else if, to make it proper, if roll is less than 75, then we're going to return 2. I'm just going to copy this. Else if it's less than 90, we're going to return 3. And then here at the end, we're just going to add an else because we know it's greater than 90, then we're going to return 4 enemies. So this has the least chance to happen, but you could potentially get 4 enemies. Now that we have this little helper function here, we're going to create another one of type int as well. Get enemy type. And we're just going to return rand modulus 4. Because we're going to have 4 different types of enemies. And we're going to do the same thing for enemy level. Enemy level. Right now we're just doing it simple, but it's going to be more complex later based off the area we're in. That's for later, so we're going to return 1 plus random modulus 3. All right. So, but the reason, so this confirms my suspicion. So this would usually return 0 to 3, I believe, but we're adding 1 to get the enemy level. Here, so 0 to 3, I believe this right here, 0 to 3. While we add 1 to it, here is that way we always get at least a level 1. How I know it returns level 0 is we're doing this because if we return this, I have my notes here. Let's test it. It would be, we can't have a level 0 monster. He's got to be level 1. So that's why we add 1 to whatever the result is. And that's why we only check up to 3, because this can return up to 3. So we want it between level 1 and 4. All right. Now, inside of main, let's go to this first thing. We just need to do what's called seeding the random. So just type in srand. We're going to pass in time and 0, just like that. And we're good. Once we do that, now go to our enemy.h, our enemy header files. We're going to make this a little more complex. So we're going to add in int level as well. Now we're going to change our functions a little bit. We're no longer going to have create basic enemy. We're just going to have create enemy. And now we're going to have void set level. It takes int enemy level. Also, the create enemy is going to take int type. All right. So now if you do like I do on here, you can highlight them both. Click action refactor, create declarations. Now we'll go to our enemy CPP. And we're just going to be making some changes here. I like how this looks, so I'm going to keep it. So, in create enemy, I'm just going to type this. That's funny. I'm going to type. So if type is equal to 0, I'm just going to go ahead and cut this, paste it in here. Now, I'm not going to do the current health. I am going to do the max health, but I'm not going to do the current health yet. And you'll see why in a minute. Now we can just delete this create basic function up top. Now I'm just going to copy this, put an else in front of it. So else if type 1. That way we don't have to do it all over. I hit the wrong button. All right, we're going to name this a skeleton. Not a skeleton, a skeleton. We give him 35 max health, but 8 damage. I'm just going to copy this. That way I don't have to type else again. And now we'll change this to type 2. And this will be a goblin. And our goblin, we want him to have 30 health. But we want him to have 10 damage. So he's going to be a little stronger. And now, I'm just going to delete this else here. I'll figure out something to do with it. Yeah, I'll figure out something to do with it. I'm just going to leave it else here for now. For some reason the number comes back wrong, that we're just going to do the zombie again. What did he have? He had like 50 health, 5 damage. That way in case for some reason we get a bad number in there. Now, at the bottom, we're going to do current health equals max health. So now no matter which choice it is, it's going to get the correct health set at the very end. Now in set level, this should be interesting. We're going to do a few things. In set level, we're going to do level equals enemy level here. We'll do max health plus equals, here comes the fun, level minus 1. Now we're going to multiply this times 10. Now we're just doing a few things right now, just to get a little bit of bonus health without letting it be too over the top. So that's why we're just subtracting 1 level from it. And its damage, we're only going to multiply it by its level times 2. So the damage isn't going to be substantially increased. So if you're thinking, if it's level 1, it's not going to get any bonus damage or bonus health. So level 1s, would be 0 times 10, which is 0. Or so that we can need extra health. But let's say we had a level 1 at least. Or no. Put an equals there. That's dangerous. Typo. If we had a level 2, then we would do 1 times 2. So then we get an extra 2 damage. So that way it gets a little bit more damage and a little bit more health with their level. So that's what we're doing here. And I just went ahead and put in set level to change their current health equal to max health, because max health is changed. Otherwise, we already did some other stuff here, but we're also going to need it there. Now, we're not going to quite have the encounter yet, but we need to make another change. So, inner main function. I know this one seems a little bit boring, but it is what it is. We're going to change this. We're going to not use enemy. We're going to use enemy. We're going to actually do std vector of type enemies, like so. And now we're going to name it enemies with an S. Now, we're going to start off by doing int enemy count equals get enemy count. So we're going to get the count. And now we're going to do for int I equals 0. And if I is less than enemy count, then I plus plus. So now by doing this, we can do enemy. So I can spell enemy in here. And we'll also do int type equals get enemy type. Well, we don't want to do that. Get enemy type. We'll do its level equals get enemy level. Later on, we'll have different parameters for getting the level, but this is just to get started. So that way, like, you know, for different regions and areas can spawn different level monsters. Now we'll just do enemy dot create enemy, and we pass in the type. That's all we got to do. And then we do the level enemy dot set level, and we pass in the level. That looks pretty easy. And the last thing we need to do is go to enemies dot pushback enemy. And just like that, we put our enemies inside there. Now we have a few changes we need to make. So right now, I'm just going to do change this to enemies appear, like so. Now I'm going to add another for loop. For int I equals 0, if I is less than enemies, now we're going to take our vector dot size, then I plus plus. Now I'm just going to copy this. Actually, I'm not, because I have to do a little bit different. So I'm going to do print right. Got to thinking, so I'm going to put enemy, put a space there. Now we got to do std to string, unfortunately. Now we need to do I plus 1, because size just brings back the size. It doesn't account for everything. Now, I'm going to put a plus sign here, then a semicolon. Now we get this. This will make more sense once we get it. Let me put a space. So this will say which enemy it is. This will basically say enemy 1. Enemy what? The reason we're doing this is because while vectors will be 0 to whatever, you don't want to be like enemy 0, enemy 1, enemy 2. You want enemy 1, 2, or 3. That's why we're adding 1 die. Now that should make sense. And that's why we have a space here. And then we have the colon. And then this is where we do something. Let me copy this. Now I can copy this. So right color. Now we're going to do enemies. I, like that. Dot name. Now it'll print it out correctly. And now we'll do print again. Now we're going to write its level. So to do that, I go ahead and put a space there. Level plus std to string again. Now we're going to do enemies I dot level, like so. Now we're going to do one more print. like this. I'm gonna put dash health. Now I'm gonna do, make sure you have the space there, plus std to string again. We gotta do that because we're taking in an integer. Enemies I dot current health. I'm also going to do plus new line. See if I'm missing anything. That should be good. Now, we don't need this anymore. We don't need this anymore. We don't need this. Let me see. I'm just gonna, just for fun. Oh. So actually I can't do that right now. Which is okay. Because I was right there. So we'll have to do something else. So we can't actually do any attacking here. That's unfortunate, but in the next video we'll fix that. So we'll just put you attack the enemy. We'll take that out. If it's like this, we don't need to do that. We can just leave it as you attack the enemy and then put the new line here. And that'll be fine. But we'll fix the rest of this later. Let's just take a look at it. All right, new game. We picked our warrior. Press 1 to continue. Enemies up here. We have a level enemy. Level enemy 1 is a goblin. He's level 3. Enemy 2 is a zombie. He's level 2. Now we'll run it one more time just to see, make sure we get different results. We just got a zombie, level 2. And there we go. Oh, what is the luck on that? We got 3 level 3 zombies. But yeah, we see our system works. We just gotta get the attacking working, and we'll do that in the next one probably, if I don't think of anything else that we need to get in there. But you can see a system starting to come together where we can run into groups of enemies. So hope you guys like this video. Comment below, like, subscribe so you can finish the series. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.